On the Fringe with Dan Radio style. Hope everybody out there is having themselves a great day. Also hope you had a wonderful, happy holiday, happy Christmas, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. I was going to make a video, didn't have enough news on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day just got way too tied up, but actually probably had enough news to pull off a show. Needless to say, we're doing an early one today, get the ball rolling, and again, just wanted to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Trump is making the deep state super nervous. There's some adjustments that are being made. NATO's kind of a good example, or the Bilderberg group, I should say, is a good example. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Not a lot going on with the drone stuff at the moment. It's almost like they took some time off for Christmas, which is funny. A lot of American companies tend to take time off for the holidays. It's odd that seems the drone sightings kind of were a little more minimized, if not completely reduced, on Christmas Day. Strange. Got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Of course, Christmas time, Donald Trump's going to give us some of his wonderful words. And I wanted to remind you guys, music-wise, wonderful inspiration group of music this time, inspired by the B-52s. I've got like 3 B-52 songs in there, very good songs, and then just a lot of stuff that's kind of in that same genre, just good, upbeat, happy kind of music. It should be a lot of fun, this show, so if you'd like to join one of the greatest communities out there, come on and join us live on Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. Do a live hour plus of music. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. We'll be definitely doing that. All said, let's get the ball rolling, kind of remind us who and what and where we all are in the big picture. Let me see if I can, there we go. Whoops. Need this over here. I had a couple cool little things from Ronald Reagan that I think is a good place to start right now, anyways.
There's enough fat in the federal government that if you rendered it, you could wash the world. Maybe it's time for realignment between people who might find themselves in the wrong parties. Maybe there are some people still voting. I was a Democrat most of my life. I became a Republican only not too many years ago. And I had the pleasure of telling some of those people that are saying the Republican Party ought to broaden its base the other day that when I switched parties, I didn't do it because the two parties were alike. I did it because they were different. And I think that the two parties ought to stand up as to what they represent, what they stand for.
Yeah, get rid of this uniparty idea. The MAGA's why we are going to be successful is not because we are trying to become the same, which is what the uniparty wanted us to do, but because, in fact, we're not becoming the same. We're actually choosing a better path. I think this is some more cool stuff.
When you and I were boys back in the Midwest,
right,
governments, federal, state, and local, were only taking about 15 cents out of every dollar earned. Today, they're taking almost half of every dollar earned in the United States. And most people don't realize it because the taxes are hidden in the so-called business taxes. You know, the politician that stands up and yells, oh, let's save the little man, let's tax business, and everybody yells hooray. But they haven't figured out that every tax on business is just a part of the cost of production. And the customer winds up paying it when he buys the product. It's a hidden sales tax. There's 116 of them in the suit of clothes that each one of us is wearing.
116 different sales taxes, but that is true. These business taxes don't get paid by the business. This is something that so many, especially people on the left, just do not understand. When you raise taxes on businesses, they don't take it out of their profits, which is what everybody says they should do. They don't. No business ever does that. And by the way, if you're ever running a business, you should never do that if you're running a business. You don't eat the cost. You keep your profits where they should be, and you just raise the price. You make the people that buy your product pay the difference. This is how the game is played. So this whole concept that the deep state or the people on the left like to push is just not the way the world works. Unfortunately, ignorance is not always bliss, at least for those of us around, but it is what it is. Here's Donald Trump wishing us all a Merry Christmas.
Melania and I would like to wish everyone a happy, joyous, and wonderful Christmas season. In this holy time of year, Christians everywhere give thanks that over 2,000 years ago, God sent his only Son into the world to be the Savior of all mankind. The birth of Jesus Christ is the true miracle we celebrate each Christmas. He is the ultimate source of our joy, our hope, and our sense of peace and goodwill as we gather with family and loved ones. It is such a great time of the year. This is why we can never stop saying that beautiful phrase, Merry Christmas. This holiday we give thanks for many blessings God has bestowed upon us. We pray for the safety of our men and women in uniform at home and abroad, and we ask God to guide us, give us strength, and watch over us in this pivotal year ahead. With His help, by this time next year, we will be well on our way to making America safer, stronger, greater, and more prosperous than ever before. Once again, Melania and I wish you a very Merry Christmas. God bless you all.
Smoking hot wife, man. Dude, Donald, you did well, buddy. You did well. All right, so President Trump also posted this on Christmas, and this is pretty damn funny. Merry Christmas to all, including the wonderful soldiers in China, or of China, who are lovingly but illegally operating the Panama Canal, where we lost 38,000 people in its building 110 years ago, always making certain that the United States puts in billions of dollars in repair money, but will have absolutely nothing to say about anything. Also, to Governor Justin Trudeau of Canada, whose citizens' taxes are far too high. But if Canada was to become our 51st state, their taxes would be cut by more than 60%, their businesses would immediately double in size, and they would be militarily protected like no other country anywhere in the world. Likewise, to the people of Greenland, which is needed by the United States for national security purposes and who want the U.S. to be there, and we will. Merry Christmas to the radical left lunatics who are constantly trying to obstruct our court system and our elections and are always going after the great citizens and patriots of the United States, but in particular, their political opponent, me. They know that their only chance of survival is getting pardons from a man who has absolutely no idea what he was doing. Also, to the 37 most violent criminals who killed, raped, and plundered like virtually no one before them, but were just given, incredibly, a pardon by Sleepy Joe Biden. I refuse to wish a Merry Christmas to those lucky souls, but instead will say, go to hell. We had the greatest election in the history of our country. A bright light is now shining over the USA, and in 26 days, we will make America great again. Merry Christmas. Pretty good message there for all of us, I think so. Denmark is ramping up security and calls in the sled dogs in Greenland after Trump threatens a takeover. Now, it's not really a threat of a takeover. But funny is the Nordic nation has announced Tuesday that it will bolster Greenland's defenses with a $1.5 billion in new resources, including 2 elite sled dog teams. Yes. Elite sled dog teams, like the Navy SEALs of sled dog teams. Now, I get that sled dogs are kind of a thing that are used out there, and okay, whatever. It's cool. They're going to see you coming from like miles away for many minutes before you actually finally get there, but whatever. But yes, sled dog teams. They're also going to be doing, I think, a couple drones, and there was one other thing they were talking about that they were going to be enhancing. Patrol boats, there it is. 2 patrol boats, 2 new long-range drones, and 2 additional sled dog teams to be deployed to the Barren. Oh, Barren Icy Island. Wow, I bet Denmark feels significantly safer now, that's for sure, right? I mean, they got 2 sled dog teams now. Woo! That's awesome. Just for our wonderful military folks out there, and just the fact that we are the greatest military on the planet. Don't forget that. There's a little story I'm going to share here in a second where they're trying to make it sound like China's done something amazing. No, China's done something stupid, and it's not nearly as amazing as they claim. And it's not the first, like they're claiming in the article, either. Good job, Insider. You got that wrong. Anywho, let's start right here. And definitely Merry Christmas from the United States Marine Corps. Ooh, good job, guys. Love everything you guys have done for us. Eric Trump posted this, and I think it's just friggin' funny as hell. We are so back. And they're showing their carts like Amazon, right? So Canada, Prime Delivery, should have it by Sunday, December 29th. There's only one. So, no returns, or there's free returns, I guess. We can give Canada back if we don't want it. But got one of those in the basket, or the cart. Greenland also going to be delivered overnight, it seems. 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. tomorrow morning we should have Greenland per this. So we went ahead and threw that in the cart, of course. And Panama Canal. Yep, we got potential overnight delivery on that as well. Powerful stuff. So, yeah, we went ahead and just dropped all those in the cart. I think Trump went ahead and ordered it. I'm not sure if it's just the American credit card. Probably. But, yeah, all said. We're going to make a difference. This is messed up and sad. So I'm not trying to make light of that. There was a Azerbaijani aircraft that was apparently shot down by the Russians in the attack that occurred. They were expecting, I think, retaliation. And so, unfortunately, a plane crashed, killing 38 people. What I do want to remind people is this is what a plane crash looks like. If you're ever told there's a plane crash and you don't see debris, then it's not a plane crash. Just reminding you guys. Remember that plane that crashed 9/11 in the middle of nowhere? And there's not a damn thing to be found because it sank into the mud? Never happens. Never. Never, ever, 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 ever. Also, if a plane would have crashed into the Pentagon, there would have been engines, wings, all sorts of things wouldn't have made it through the building like it did. Again, there would have been debris. And 9/11, unfortunately, the Twin Towers, there was missing engines, and like those big giant engines, there should have been 4 of them, should have fallen from the sky and landed someplace and probably caused huge amounts of damage, yet didn't. Interestingly, they did find some tiny little fan blade that didn't look like it was even big enough to be from an aircraft the size that supposedly hit the towers. So again, just saying. It's a horrible thing that people are dying, though, that's for sure. All Moscow airports mysteriously closed with no reason given. Yeah, they were expecting an attack, obviously, or some sort of retaliation. So this has occurred. I don't know if it's still happening. I believe this was as of the 26th. I think this article got posted today, the 26th. So we'll see. I'm assuming they're expecting an attack. We'll know more a little later. Now, here's the thing that's just stupid. Insider Paper has reported, wrong, I might add, they've incorrectly reported that China has shown the first 6th generation fighter. The 6th generation fighter. First off, China's 6th generation fighter is not the equivalent of our 6th generation fighter. Second, we actually see an image of China's 6th generational fighter, yet we haven't seen one from the U.S. Doesn't mean we don't have one. We do. Our F-22 is actually significantly close to 6th gen anyways, but whatever the case is, our 6th gen fighters are, yes, significantly better than anything China's putting out. China's aircraft are not all that they talk about. Another fun thing, too, that most people don't realize, China owns 3 aircraft carriers right now. One of them, I think, is in sea trials or finishing up sea trials. They've got a teeny number of people in their Air Force or Navy or whatever you want to call it that actually are qualified to land on carriers. Very few of the pilots can actually land on the carrier. They have a carrier. They can take planes off all day long. That's easy to do. Landing is the tricky part. Now, maybe they don't need to be able to. Maybe they can take off and then fly back to the mainland when they're attacking Taiwan. But ultimately, China's not as far along as a lot of people try to fear porn us into believing. So just keep that in mind as well. There we go. I think anyways. I hope this is the one. Yeah. The opening of the Holy Door. So this is significant because the Jubilee year has begun. Every 25 years, the Catholic Church does this Jubilee thing. I was brought up Catholic, so I'm overqualified to poke fun at the Catholic Church, and I do it often. Again, I am extraordinarily pro-God, pro-Jesus, pro-everything, right? I am not pro-organized religion, very much against organized religion. I just feel like, unfortunately, they've done more damage than good. But baked within a lot of their teachings is a lot of really good stuff. So again, not trying to poo-poo on all of this. You guys, for the most part, know where I stand on stuff. Some of you guys a little upset with me on this. Most of you guys, I think, are coming along with me. Again, this is a tricky area because I would say of my audience, I would say a third of you guys probably, roughly, are pretty devout religious people. So probably somewhat offended by a lot of the crap I say. I would say about 2/3 of my audience probably is more in the asking questions that are appropriate to be asked right now. So it's tricky on my side because, again, a lot of the things I want to say and try to help us all through, we're not necessarily all ready, and I really want us all to kind of move together, right? Frankly. So, again, it's not that I have any disrespect or anything like that. It's quite the contrary. In fact, for many years of my life, I contemplated becoming a priest. I am very much a devout speaker of God. God is one of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced in my life. Just the power of it, the beauty of it. So again, it's just we all are kind of walking through this journey in our own ways. So again, all said, what I did think was kind of strange about this particular thing is the Pope. One, he's in a wheelchair, which is weird. Second, he didn't actually even open the doors themselves. The doors opened for him. I don't know. Just some of this just seemed kind of strange, but I get it. The Pope is not necessarily in a good place. And per some of the prophecies from the past, I don't know if it was Nostradamus, or I think it was the, I'm not sure who was the one that prophesized all the different Pope names. Supposedly we're on the last Pope. I actually believe that. I don't know if it's the fall of the Catholic Church or it's the change of the Catholic Church. Whatever the case is, I don't think there's going to be any more popes. This is probably the last pope, and he's in a wheelchair now. Things are changing in this world, finally, and hopefully for the betterment of humanity. All said, here is a pretty extravagant moment, and it's again, there's two things, too, that also bothered me. One, he touches his nose in a weird place, and two, rubs his face when I feel like he should have been doing the sign of the cross. Just strange. I don't know. This whole thing was strange. I'm curious what you guys think.
Introitum tuam Domine,
So this Jubilee is something they do every 25 years. They open these specific doors, and this is, I don't know, significant of, I don't even fully understand why they do this. It's a year of forgiveness, reconciliation. According to the church teachings, Catholics who confess their sins during this time are forgiven and therefore released from the eternal or spiritual punishment of damnation. First off, Catholics that go to confession at any time of the year, ever, are free from sins afterwards. They're forgiven. So this is actually incorrect. Church teachings maybe want you to go to confession this every 25 years to really make sure you solidify it, but all you got to do is go to confession and your sins are forgiven. At least that's what the Catholics believe. So kind of a incorrect information, if you will. All said, at the start of the Christmas Eve Mass, Pope Francis pushed open the holy doors in St. Peter's Basilica, which will remain open throughout the year to allow the estimated 32 million pilgrims projected to visit Rome to pass through. Now, funny thing, Pope is all about Europe and everybody accepting people from other countries, but not the Vatican. No. The pilgrimage will come through and pass through, but none of them asses are staying. No. Catholics worldwide watch the ritual unfold starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. There's a web camera there. Pope Francis invited Catholics to focus on hope as the world suffers from the impacts of war, the ongoing effects of COVID-19 pandemic, and the climate crisis. For the first time, the Pope will also be opening a portal at the Rebibbia prison, Italy's largest correction facility, but as delivering a message of hope to prisoners. So he just opens these doors. These doors open up, and then that somehow represents. And there's I think 4 or 5 different doors they're opening this year, one of them being the prison, which is not necessarily normal, but yeah, nonetheless, what they are doing. Let's see here if we can actually get to the right place. Yes. This was just cool, and I think this will make a lot of you guys very, very happy that they're finally doing something for the people in North Carolina. Good job to NASCAR and to Lowe's. I think it was Lowe's. Yes. Good job, guys.
A sleigh or 8 tiny reindeer, but it's close.
This is a powerful day.
NASCAR's red pickups towed into the mountains what tops many Helene survivors' wish lists: housing.
We call this the new beginning. So many in our community have suffered, have lost everything.
The work began a week ago Thursday at a different workshop in Charlotte. An effort designed in part by the Home Builders Association of Greater Charlotte.
Sometimes you feel like you can't do anything, but hey, I can swing a hammer, right? So I was like, let me go out there and just give a hand.
Chisa Brooks, CEO of Brooks Construction, has been where many in western North Carolina are. Her home impacted by Hurricane Hugo 35 years ago in St. Croix.
And we were without power for 6 months. I was little at the time, so I can relate to the people who have lost in Asheville, and I understand what it feels like to lose a lot.
To repair this devastation calls for all hands on deck.
Did you think this was possible?
No. No, I think we started talking about it about a month ago. And I had my hesitations and anxiety about getting people to come out so close to Christmas. But we put the sign-up sheet up, and a week later we had 400 volunteers.
From a Lowe's standpoint, we said, okay, well, if you can bring the builders, we can bring the products. And so that's how we got involved.
From the framing to siding and furnishings, crews completed 17 temporary tiny homes in 7 days that meet state code and a desperate need.
When I drove through Swannanoa and saw the destruction 6 weeks after it happened, it looked like it happened yesterday, and I was shocked at the state of it. As a home builder, I felt obligated to help build shelter and homes for these people, and it's difficult when they're 2 or 3 hours away.
Another 83 homes built by Incredible Tiny Homes brings a total to 100 to be deployed before Christmas with help from Beloved Asheville.
We have them going to Waynesville and to Saluda and down to Bat Cave and up to Barnersville and Marshall and throughout our community, Swannanoa and Black Mountain.
Private organizations like Lowe's stepping in to fill the gaps where federal and state aid falls short. FEMA has approved $279 million for over 140,000 households. That includes money to help rent a home or apartment. It's still desperately short of Amy Cantrell's list of those needing help.
So many people had lost hope. They felt like people had forgotten them.
Forgotten because it's the same need from nearly 3 months ago. Housing. These mobile units give families an opportunity to get back to a familiar address after being displaced. More than 5,000 remain in hotels. Another 500 plus are in rentals. 74 families are in FEMA travel trailers. And while FEMA is working with property management companies to identify and lease apartments in a direct lease program to start with the new year, Cantrell says this effort is summed up in 3 simple words.
Love and action.
Action, putting families where they want to be for the holidays. Home.
It's so important that they stay on their existing land so that they can rebuild, so that they can make sure that their kids are still on the bus route, so, that they can have some form of normalcy.
And spurring hope that others might see this effort and act.
We hope the story kind of inspires maybe some other builders or other associations say, well, hey, my company can build 1 or our organization can build 5. And we'll be happy to share our plan and material list and everything.
Once a family's home has permanently been repaired, these units can come back to Beloved Asheville, be cleaned, and then redeployed to another family in need. In Buncombe County, Jennifer Emmert, News 13.
Such a good story. Such a good story. And I'm just glad that stuff like that's happening. That's just fantastic. So, yeah, wanted to share that with you guys. I also want to share with you guys, a way to fix your wealth. We've got a lot of people that have their retirements tied up in an economy that I know Trump's going to make things better, but I don't think we're done with the crazy part. In fact, I think with the fact that the Fed lowered interest rates yet again, is just one of those things that shows how fragile this economy is. Now, I know Trump is going to make things better. I don't think it's going to happen as quickly as many people kind of want or hope. I think within a year or two. But there's going to be a lot of challenges along the way. One of the things you can do to protect your wealth is to get into precious metals. Precious metals right now are spiking. The prices are spiking, and it's because of inflation. It's because the dollar, the value of the dollar is actually retracting, or you're losing buying power from the dollar. This is something that sucks if you've got stocks. Stocks are tied to the dollar, and so when you look at your stock portfolio, it's like, oh, I'm up 4% or 5%. That's dollar value, not actual buying power value. And that's the thing. The stock's value, the dollar value, is actually going up slower than the inflation. So inflation's happening at a higher pace than the actual raising in the stocks for the most part. And because of that, you're losing buying power. You're losing wealth. Wealth is really ultimately, what can I get with this stuff? What can I buy? What can I acquire? What can I transform this into so I get something in return? That's really all money is, right? It's a means to a thing, another thing, or services. One of the things that's going on right now is gold and silver. Anytime we've ever had problems in our economy, gold and silver always spike, always have. And right now we're about halfway from what the spikes in silver anyways have hit in the past. Gold's kind of like on this just up and up and up thing. It goes down every once in a while and then it just continues to go up, and it's spiking pretty hard right now. You want to get in before the prices continue to go up, because that going up in price, that's your wealth, that's your accrual, that's your victory. So you want to get in before those numbers hit the top. Now, once they hit the top, wherever that might be, then we transition into the other economy or other dollar, or we just set, maybe you transition into something else. We'll figure out where and how we can move this from precious metals, but precious metals hold the wealth no matter what. And so when that time comes, we'll have probably a system, and I'm sure Goldco will probably be helping with that too. Being able to buy back these precious metals and transition them into some other kind of currency. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Now, Goldco doesn't believe all the crazy crap I talk about. That's not what they're about. That's what I talk about. This is why I think they're a great idea. It's why I partnered with them as a sponsor, and I'm a very proud Goldco partner. Love these guys. I think what they do is amazing. I think they do it so extraordinarily well. They've got 5-star ratings all over the place, and they've helped hundreds of my customers, and they can help you. They can help you protect your wealth. They can help you get out of that 401k or that IRA tax-free, penalty-free. Literally, you can get out tax-free, penalty-free. They're not going to rape you on that stuff. And you can transition into precious metals. Now, right now, they're offering up to 10% of the face value of your 401k or your IRA. The face value, so it's $100,000 is what you're sitting at right now. Up to 10% free silver for you, just for coming over. Now, also, if you act like you're going to click off the screen, you'll see this thing pop up. Same 4 data points, still going to get the up to 10% of free silver. And on top of that, they're also going to give you a half-ounce silver coin, which may seem like not nearly as cool as 10% of free silver, but they're going to give you a free silver coin for qualifying people with 401ks or IRAs. It's a Ronald Reagan coin. It's 0.9999% pure. It's a collector's item. It's worth, almost, 15, 16, 17 bucks right now at this point. It's a nice little thing to say, hey, we appreciate you reaching out to us. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Take advantage of the opportunity. Take advantage of what's happening in this economy and take advantage of their incredible 10% plus this awesome coin. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you, because that is their plan. And we'll see. They're going to slash and burn. We've typically seen that, right? They try to destroy what they cannot control. Be prepared. Biden signs a bill officially making the bald eagle the national bird of the United States. For some reason, I felt like this happened already. I know there's the story about, was it Benjamin Franklin wanted to make it the turkey? Which seems stupid in hindsight. I don't know. He had his reasons for it, and we eat the damn bird every year for turkey for Thanksgiving time, so who knows? But apparently, Biden did sign into law or whatever, a bill officially making the bald eagle the national bird of the United States. That's cool. I mean, I don't know. Biden did one cool thing while he was in office. There you go. I don't know. That's kind of cool, I think. This is a strange thing to say on 60 Minutes. I'm curious if you guys agree, but this is the deep state talking to us. Now they're under the pretense of this being Israel, I think, and being involved in the sending those pagers that blew up a bunch of people. Whoever this individual is very deep state. Do I think this is actually the good guys in the Israeli side? No. But this is who they brought onto 60 Minutes, who obviously we don't think anything of Leslie. What's-her-face? She's just a pile of trash. But it is an interesting piece of information that they share with us. And again, I'm curious if you kind of agree. This seems very deep state-esque to me anyways.
How did you convince Hezbollah to buy this?
Well, obviously, they didn't know that they were buying it from Israel.
Who did they buy it from, or think they were buying it from?
We have an incredible array of possibilities of creating foreign companies that have no way being traced back to Israel, shell companies over shell companies who affect the supply chain to our favor. We create a pretend world. We are a global production company. We write the screenplay. We're the directors, we're the producers, we're the main actors. The world is our stage.
Yeah, that seems kind of strange to me. I don't know. Maybe you guys agree, maybe you disagree. Who knows? American Airlines had a nationwide ground stop that didn't seem to last. I think it lasted about an hour. This was on Christmas Eve, one of the most highly traveled days of the year. They had a ground stop for about an hour. It seems like it did finally free up, resumed flights after nationwide technical glitch or technical issue. Whatever the case was, not the best day for that to be happening, but yes, nonetheless, it still did. Nearly 2,000 American CEOs have quit in 2024, setting a new record. Some good, interesting information here. Obviously, some Q posts have been tied into this. Post 413 comes out, tracks CEO resignations. Look for placeholder updates. Let's see. We got resignations, leaks, bribery, collusion, yada, 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 right? So there's going to be resignations of CEOs, resignations of senators, resignations of Congress. All this stuff is going to be happening and seems to be happening right now. Now, again, there's a lot of things we can speculate on that. Could it be some of the Diddy stuff and everything? Sure. Could it be people's health? Sure. Could it be the truth is coming out? Sure. It could be a lot of things, but we are starting to see, and some of these prophecies, if you will, are definitely coming true. This is, I don't know, this is one of the myriad of reasons why I think Bank of America is literally quite possibly the most evil bank in this country. And I'm 100% sure a crap ton of you all have them as your banking partner. I would seriously consider getting out of that, or at least starting a separate account. Bank of America is a horrible, horrible bank, but whatever. That's my opinion. You guys, I can't prove it. I'm not going to, besmirch a company. It's my opinion. I'm allowed to have those. But this is one of the many examples that is why I've shaped this opinion. But Bank of America will charge low-income customers $12 per month for their checking accounts unless they have a $1,500 account balance or monthly direct deposits of at least $250. Yeah. Poor people are going to get charged $12 a month because they're poor. Just think about that for a second. It should be almost the other way around, though, I'll be honest, I wouldn't have my money in a bank account up there, and especially if I was going to keep any sort of above $1,500 balance, and they're going to start charging me monthly fees. Now, I'd leave that bank in a heartbeat. But this is pretty messed up when you think about like somebody who doesn't have money, who's at least $250 a direct deposit. Like, wow, not very much, is it? So 5 days ago, Bank of America reported $2.4 billion in earnings for one quarter. Today, they announced they're going to nickel and dime their poorest customers. There you go. Thanks, Bank of America. Thank you for being so awesome. Oh, cool. I thought I forgot to put commercials in there. Very good. Good job, Dan. This is pretty well done. This guy did a brilliant job on this. It's worth 35 seconds. Check this out.
See the drones in the sky? People are really worried about them. Aliens are real. Don't care. Nuclear war's about to. Oh my God! Will you stop it? Nuclear war's about to start. If it's gonna start it. Let's just get it over with, eh? There are drones in the sky. Aliens are. Oh, whoop-de-doo. Is that helping me pay my electric bill? No? Then I don't.
You from Canada, eh? Curious, because no one else talks like that. That's pretty awesome. That was funny, so I thought, oh, this is just brilliant. They got one of the drones. This is a New Jersey drone caught on the way to the research facility. Yeah. For any of you guys looking at the screen, you can probably appreciate this. It's like a life-size TIE fighter. Pretty cool. And for those of you that don't know what a TIE fighter is, sorry. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't really want to talk to you anymore. The National Transportation Safety Board has launched an investigation following an incident where drones malfunctioned during a holiday show in Orlando, literally injured some people. This is pretty crazy, and you see one of these almost brutal injuries, or I think it was actually where somebody got injured, whatever the case was, pretty hardcore, and everyone's like, oh, look, oh, shit. Yeah.
Oh, some of them are falling. Watch it. Oh!
Yeah. Ouch is all I can say. That drone came in hard and fast. And again, their blades are covered. There's a disc around the outer side of the blade, so it's unlikely that you're going to get hit by the spinning blades, but just something moving at 40 miles an hour hitting you when it weighs, I don't know, pound or two. Yeah, that's going to F you up in a bad way. A couple crazy things with Joe Biden, because, we love him. We don't want Biden to leave, because God forbid if that ever happened. But a bunch of images have been released now showing Joe Biden meeting with Hunter's business associates and Xi Jinping on multiple occasions. So here's Hunter meeting Xi, and Xi's like, oh, are you my little bitch now? Pretty much, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what they're saying. Here's some more of the business people meeting Joe Biden, who he never met any of these people ever. Well, here's photos of you meeting them ever. So just saying these are all the Chinese people that gave the Bidens lots of money. Oh, you guys are so bummed because this stuff's going to come out. It's definitely going to come out. There's no way you escape this completely. Some more fun pictures from the past. Here's the swamp in action. Joe Biden's GOP pals in the Senate. John McCain, the name you don't say. And Lindsey Graham, fucker. I so dislike Lindsey Graham. For any of you guys that are like, Dan, he's okay. He's an all right guy. No, he's not. He is John McCain. He's what's left of John McCain. Lindsey Graham is a horrible, horrible, horrible human being. He's not even human, I don't think, anymore. He's a freaking horrible person, though. Horrible person. We got to get that bastard out. And that will be a grand day. I will celebrate. I will be in the streets dancing. My neighbors will probably hate it, but I'm not a very good dancer, that's for sure. A leading United States agency that tracks foreign disinformation has terminated its operations. The State Department has said after Congress failed to extend its funding following years of Republican criticism. Yeah, this was a victory on that CR, that continuing resolution. We won. The Global Engagement Center, GEC, it's a State Department unit established in 2016. It was shuttered on Monday at a time when officials and experts tracking propaganda have been warning of the risks of disinformation campaigns that are going on all over the place. From Russia and China, of course. The State Department has consulted with Congress regarding next steps. It said in a statement when asked what would happen to the GEC staff in its outgoing or ongoing projects following the shutdown. The GEC had an annual budget of $61 million and a staff of about 120. Its closing leaves the State Department without a dedicated office for tracking and countering disinformation from U.S. rivals for the first time in 8 years. Measures going to extend funding for the center was stripped out of the final version of the bipartisan federal spending bill that passed through the House last week, or earlier this week, I guess. Good job, guys. We're accomplishing many, many great things, and we're going to continue to do exactly that. Rand Paul put out his Festivus highlights, over $1 trillion this time. $1 trillion in government waste that he is calling out, so a very happy time for all of us. A couple of the big posts that he put out. Senators, Rand Paul released his yearly report on government waste, Festivus reports, $1 trillion in government waste. So let's see, we got a couple of these. We got $3 million for girls-centered climate action in Brazil. Don't even know. Probably fake girls, too, for that matter. $20 million for a new Sesame Street show, literally. $10,000 for Bearded Ladies Cabaret for a climate change-focused ice skate show. Let's think about that for a second. If the world's warming, there will be no more ice. Oh, my God. We need to spend $10,000 for that. $365,000 for circuses in city parks. $32,500 for break dancing. Sure. $330,000 for censoring conservative media. $720,000 for conservation of ducks in Mexico. $720,000 for conservation of ducks in Mexico. Do you think any of these things are actually going to what they claim? No. I mean, I don't think any of them are. What else? I thought he had another one in here where he broke down some more crap that he had. I was trying to, these guys they're wasting so much money. I love that Rand Paul's pulling it up. He said he actually provided all this to Doge, which I thought was super cool. Rand Paul's been doing this for a long time. He's like kind of a little miffed, that Doge is like on the scene now, and they're like taking a lot of credit for stuff that this dude's been trying to shine a light on for a very long time. Love Rand Paul, love his dad. Again, just, I don't know, just great people that have been speaking out in the right ways for this country for a very long time. Former President Bill Clinton has been hospitalized. Didn't last long. He developed a fever. Sounds like he got the flu, basically, whatever, or the H5N1, whatever, right? Got something. And he went into a hospital, had a fever. They gave him some drugs and then basically released him. Yeah, he was discharged from the hospital after being treated for flu. And that's made a big amount of news. Don't exactly know why. Don't really care, frankly. And doesn't he look horrible? Bill, you're not aging well. That's all I can say. It's probably because of your nasty wife, but whatever the case is. This was fun. 1957, the HIV AIDS pandemic began from a polio vaccine trial, and Dr. Fauci covered it up. I mean, this is alleged, okay? I'm not going to say this is 100% factual, but this is some very good information that was brought forward for us, and I think it's important for all of us to understand this.
But if you watch Hooper in this documentary, he has a completely different theory about the origin.
AIDS came about as an act of man, not as an act of God.
In the late 50s, scientists were in the Congo testing polio vaccines on Africans.
Scientist named Hilary Kaprowski cultured the polio vaccine in the kidney cells of chimpanzees.
Something like HIV may have existed in primates for millions of years, but it had never had a huge outbreak in humans. During the research, other primate viruses had already contaminated the vaccines. Despite these risks, between 1957 and 59, scientists test this oral vaccine on indigenous Africans without informed consent.
It's just devilish.
For 2 years, these scientists administer millions of doses in Kinshasa. And by the end of the study in 1959, in the same city, is the first major outbreak of HIV.
It's evil.
Federal health officials say as many as 1 million Americans may have been infected with the AIDS virus.
A mystery disease known as the gay plague.
Even without any connections to the polio vaccine and the origin of AIDS, people were enraged at Reagan and Fauci for how they were handling the pandemic. Activists like Michael Petrelis even stormed the NIH.
Anthony Fauci, I piss on you.
I promise you we'll give you the data. I do think there is still a conspiracy.
You are a politician.
Fauci was hated by almost all people suffering with HIV. He was arrogant and condescending.
I think that you may be naive in understanding how you can get things done in Washington.
Fauci was already under fire for failed treatments like AZT.
Abandoned cancer chemotherapy treatments that were taken off the shelf.
Then in the late 90s, the story comes out in Rolling Stone about the oral polio vaccine and connections to the origin of the pandemic.
Why and how?
There were several mysteries that
Fauci was already on the rocks with the black community.
To tell us what to do, how to treat our bodies, and how to live a more...
Around this time, he was working on an AIDS vaccine, and a story about a vaccine tested on black people accidentally causing a pandemic that was ravaging the black community was not good PR for him or for science. Over the next couple years, a series of papers come out debunking the polio theory. Fauci promotes some of that work, saying that the theory was dead. The crazy coincidence is some of those papers were written by Bob Gary, Andrew Rambo, and Eddie Holmes. The same guy's given a big ask right before the pandemic broke out. Anyone seeing a pattern here? It's all the same people. And they apparently have written the same type of papers for the last 20 years.
Totally consistent.
After all, viruses only come from nature. The story Fauci loves to tell.
I don't recall. I might have.
And I feel like I still don't even know the whole story.
I so very much look forward to the truth coming out and just shafting these horrible, horrible people. John Harold did some really good work around what's going on with this Matt Gaetz stuff. Reading through the report on Matt Gaetz and the justification they used to release this thing is bogus. They cite 3 prior situations. 2 guys guilty of actual crimes, and 1 guy who asked the committee to investigate allegations published by the media. All parties involved wanted the report public. This is Gaetz' situation is definitely a political hit job, unquestionably. They list some stuff in here. It's basically, I think John does a good job kind of summarizing it beautifully. Donald Trump posted this or truthed this: as soon as I am inaugurated, I will direct the Justice Department to vigorously pursue the death penalty to protect American families and children from violent rapists, murderers, and monsters. We will be a nation of law and order again. Again, I'm not a big fan of the death penalty, but yeah, cool. Bring it on, Trump. Bring it. There's a lot of bad people in the world, that's for sure. Trump's FCC pick sends stern letter to Bob Iger, blasting erosion in public trust. Brandon Carr, Trump-appointed commissioner, is going to become the chairman next month, wrote to Disney CEO Bob Iger over the weekend about Disney-owned ABC Network's negotiations with its affiliated stations across the United States. Carr used that narrow issue to advance some broad points about the state of the industry and to signal that he intends to wield a heavy hand in the top FCC role, taking a very different approach than his predecessors. The letter, which was obtained by CNN, begins, "Dear Mr. Iger, Americans no longer trust the national news media to fully report accurately and fairly. Carr cites polling data and says ABC's own conduct has certainly contributed to this erosion in public trust. For instance, ABC News has recently agreed to pay $15 million to President Trump's future presidential foundation and museum, and an additional $1 million in attorney fees to settle a defamation case." Carr then delineates between national networks and local stations, which are licensed by the FCC. Americans largely hold positive views of the local media outlets. Now, what he's talking about is there's national ABC News, and then there's the local ABC affiliates, which is going to be like your Channel 7 or 4 or 2 or 11 or whatever the hell on your local TV. That is your local affiliate. They broadcast on the airwaves through their TV signal, and that broadcasting of the airwaves is an FCC thing. The national companies do not broadcast over the airwaves, and thusly do not have an FCC component, or FCC cannot necessarily do anything to them. But as a parent company, they can. So he's going to come at this from a slightly different angle. We'll see how it works. But the local affiliates generally are trusted significantly more than the national owner, if you will. People are waking up. This is really, I think, the takeaway on the story in the big picture. Rand Paul posted this here. Here are some of my favorites from the report, soon to become yours. Oh, this is some of the stuff I guess I missed. Okay, maybe not, whatever the case is. We got a National Endowment for the Arts, awarding the Bearded Lady Cabaret $10,000. We talked about that. Sesame Street's replacement. Department of State allocated for breakdancing, which is just stupid. And it's funny, they showed the chick that, was that the chick that in the Olympics that literally did zero breakdancing? That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, probably. She was so horrible. She got 0 points, too. It was pretty awesome. And yeah, the duck thing. Conservation project in Mexico, $720,000 for Mexican ducks, or platos, we would call them in Espanol. Yeah, so I guess I got this in 2 places. That's pretty good stuff, Dan. Good job. Yeah, nothing new on this one. Excelente. What do we got? Oh, this is fun. So welcome to the agenda for Christmas 2025. England, you guys are losing your frickin' ever-loving minds. You guys are now going to go to a new digital ID because Yeah, IDs that are in paper are cumbersome, and there's information there that people might be able to find. You guys, I hope to God you're not falling for this nonsense. If not, England, you could possibly be one of the stupidest countries on the planet. We'll see what you guys choose to do.
Right, mate.
Alright, mates. Can I get a pint of lager, please?
Yeah, of course. Can I just see some ID?
Yeah, no worries. I've got it somewhere here.
Hi, can I have a pint of Christmas cracker, please?
Certainly.
I know it's a surprise for everyone, but I don't get asked for my ID anymore. But for loads of young people, they get asked all the time when they want to buy a drink. So we're changing the law so that next Christmas, young people will have their ID on their phone, so they won't have all of the hassle of needing to get ID or leaving their ID at home or their paper ID getting lost or damaged. There's already 50 digital apps like this one. But what it means is that bar staff can scan to prove somebody's identity, and it doesn't give away any personal information. So it means that giving your ID is safer than it's ever been before. Changes like these are going to create economic growth for our country, which is key to our plan for change.
There you are.
Great, thanks. You put it on the tab. So this means by next Christmas, buying a pint will be a little bit easier.
Great. Yeah, all good.
There you go, mate.
Cheers.
£7.20, please. London prices. Merry Christmas.
I'll just choose to be less retarded than the individual that dropped everything on the ground. And then the other guy, by the way, what's up with him?
Have their
What's up with these eyebrows, man? Do you get cramps at the end of the day from keeping your eyebrows too high? I've got the medication for you. I mean, right. Hi, my eyebrows are way up here all the time because I'm curious what's going on. I'm not angry. You can't tell anyways. Whatever. I don't want to make fun of my British friends, but at the same time, making fun of my British friends. France, police are not commenting. Apparently a fire broke out between the first and second floor, I want to say, or the second and third, whatever the hell, on the big Eiffel Tower thing. Yeah, right. Fire broke out in the elevator shaft between the first and second floors. They're blaming an electrical thing because, can't be terrorism, obviously, on Christmas Day or the day before. Yeah, the day before. Whatever. Friggin' A. Milei unveils ambitious nuclear plans to position Argentina as global energy player. They're going to be using a lot of these what's called SMRs, or small modular reactors. Nuclear's kind of taken on a new thing right now. There's two sides to this. If we are going through the changes on this planet that I kind of wonder if we are, especially magnetic field stuff, that's major play right now, and we actually ever did get to a point where we had problems, nuclear reactors are going to be a huge problem. I like nuclear energy. I think it's very green. I think if civilization continues the way they should, it'll probably be fine. Is there probably better stuff? Yes, for sure. Cleaner energy, Tesla technology, stuff like that, for sure. Better, cleaner energy. Well, cleaner maybe not, but better choices. Nuclear is very clean. And again, I'm pro it. I took a tour of the San Onofre Power Station here in Southern California, which is being shut down, is mostly shut down, but is being shut down further. So it's cool technology. I'm very, very fond of it. I like it, but it does require maintenance. It does require people to be there on a regular basis. It does require civilization to be existing. If those things fail, it becomes dangerous because, again, if you just leave a nuclear plant going, it will eventually have a problem. It will eventually superheat and go critical, and that will create a radiation leak that downwind will affect many. So it is dangerous. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how things continue to move. Lavrov warns Israel against sowing a storm in Syria. They're a little concerned about this little section on the border that Israel has taken control of. They're saying they're just there to make sure that no bad people get control of this area, which it does make sense if that's true. But Russia, I think, is kind of warning, like, don't think you're going to hold on to that territory, though. That's not yours, Israel. That's still Syria's. We'll see. But Lavrov is getting a little more involved in the Syrian Damascus problem that is occurring, and we'll see where that gets us. Russia says it foils Ukrainian plot to kill senior officers with disguised bombs. They were trying to disguise them as just regular objects, and they were trying to take out some significantly high-ranking individuals within the Soviet Union, Russia. They found out about it. Russia seems to have put a stop to it. Not sure if they found any of these devices or not, but obviously the CIA / quote Ukraine were planning some pretty crazy stuff. Didn't seem like that's working, which is good. I just want the war to stop. I want everybody to stop dying. I don't want anyone to die from wars ever again on this planet. That would be ideal. Moscow's going to work with President-elect Donald Trump's administration. Essentially, Lavrov is saying, here's the deal. You guys sort of walked away from the bargaining table, not us. So in order for this to move forward, Trump's going to have to make the first move. I'm sure Trump will, but that's essentially the point of this story. No need to spend more time than that on it. Let's see. Stoltenberg. Oh, yeah, this is world's most secretive society is appointing a new leader as the second Trump presidency sparks seismic shifts in global order. The Bilderberg Group, which we've all heard of, and this is definitely one of the biggest secret societies, a group of elitists that are trying to control the world and have been trying to shape the world. Jens Stoltenberg is going to be their new chair. He was in charge of NATO. He's now in charge, or going to be in charge, of the Bilderberg Group. They obviously don't like Trump. This is the dude right here, by the way. They don't like Trump, of course, because Trump is going to destroy the deep state, and the Bilderberg Group is all about the deep state bidding. So, yeah, their times are definitely not going well for them in the big picture. Let's actually talk about MyPillow. I like MyPillow a lot. I think they make incredible products. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. That's mypillow.com/OTF. They got the classic pillow. I love the classic pillow. This is what made me fall in love with this company. They're practically giving them away. $14.88 for the queen size. I think it's $19.88 for the king, and it's incredible. I've been using it. Love it. The best pillow. I finally got my king size versions of it. In fact, that's kind of hard to reach. I got a couple of records my girlfriend bought me that I don't want them to fall over. But we've got some really cool stuff going on. The towels are the best, $29.98. These towels are incredible. Best towel you'll ever use, I swear. The premium ones are actually better, but this is still just an incredible towel. It absorbs beyond, just beautifully absorbs. The dish towels are incredible, though $5 cheaper than what I paid for them. They're actually really nice. I finally had a chance to use them. Christmas Eve, I made some bread, and usually when you let the bread rise, you cover it with a towel. It was the first time I used them. I didn't do a lot with the towels, but it was awesome, and they're bigger, actually. They're larger than I thought they would be. I actually kind of thought they would be more like, I don't know, washcloth size, but they're actually like a little bigger than hand towels. They're really good size towels. They're freaking awesome, and they've got some really, really cool patterns. They've got toppers for your mattresses. If you want to try to add a couple years to your mattress, I highly recommend it. You can save up to 80% on all sorts of MyPillow clothing. Just their cloth, their cotton is so good. So they got a bunch of really, really cool cotton clothes that are just comfortable, super good quality, and inexpensive. Save up to 80%. All sorts of good sweats and stuff like that. Good stuff. They got socks. They got blankets. They got comforters. They got so much good stuff, and it's all on sale right now. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. That's mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you've ever had. And you definitely will. That's for sure. All right. Yeah, this is just a reminder to everybody that the same people that tell us that drugs are okay and you should just trust them are the same people, basically, that told us cigarettes were okay. You should just trust them.
Cartons of camels are sure to please. Besides, they look so handsome under Christmas trees. So easy to give, so good to get. Give Camels, the nation's favorite cigarette. Ho, ho, ho! It's gift-packed, ready to give, with a space for your greeting.
For shiz. Now, by the way, when I did smoke, Camels were my thing. I loved Camel regulars. That was my baby. Love the Camels. Love them. New York City comptroller asked feds to decide whether Cuomo violated health rules during deadly COVID pandemic. They're still looking into this guy. I don't think they want him to become mayor or whatever he's thinking of running for. Dude's a pile of trash, so hopefully Cuomo is never allowed to do that. His brother seems to be turning out okay, but yeah, older brother Cuomo, pile of trash. XAI has successfully raised $6 billion in its Series C funding. It's welcoming significant investments from firms like A16Z, BlackRock, Sequoia Capital. Strategic investors, NVIDIA, and AMD also contributed to this round. This is X's or Musk's version of AI. $6 billion, that's a chunk of money. So, yeah, this is where the Chat GPT and Musk and the war and all this stuff is happening. Chat GPT, probably not the good choice. Highly recommend for any of you guys using Chat GPT, let go of it. Start using Grok. Start helping train Grok. Stop helping Chat GPT. That's definitely deep state oriented. Stop helping them. Don't let them train. Don't ask them questions. Don't help them get better. Go to Grok. Grok actually does really good work and has a sense of humor too, by the way, and I think does significantly better work, by the way, than ChatGPT. Big banks, businesses are suing the Fed over opaque annual stress tests. I'm not quite sure what all this is about. The Fed, I guess, is putting these stress tests against, is like hypothetical too, and they're like looking at banks and judging them based off of this hypothetical situation. It's like, how would you do in this situation? Oh, you'd fail, so your score sucks. And the bank's like, this is insane. Like, this isn't even a real life situation. And the Fed's like, doesn't matter. We don't like you. Obviously, I'm sure Bank of America got a passing score because they're a shit bank that doesn't deserve it. But needless to say, plaintiffs are suing. And that's good. The Fed, I don't know if they can actually have lawsuits. I hope they can, against them, certainly. Plaintiffs include the Bank Policy Institute, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and the American Bank Association. Yeah, we'll see where it all goes. I guess we're talking about so-called Chevron doctrine has called for judges to defer to reasonable federal agency interpretations of U.S. law to be deemed ambiguous. This is going to hurt what the Fed's trying to do, though the Fed's not actually a federal organization. They're a private group. It's one thing a lot of people really, truly don't understand. Trial for suspect in second Trump assassination attempt has been delayed. We knew this was coming. They delayed it. I think they wanted to delay it to December of this coming year, but in fact, it was to September 2025. Apparently, a lot of information that they have to go through. Predominantly, it was Ruth that was asking for the extension. I think the government's like, yeah, okay, that's fine, whatever. So the judge, Eileen Cannon, has agreed to this extension. It's fine. Alec Baldwin's manslaughter case was dropped by a New Mexico prosecutor. It is what it is. I think ultimately, I think Alec Baldwin is responsible because of what he did that was irresponsible. But all said, the individual that allowed live rounds to exist on the set, she failed miserably, and that was the lady that was in charge of the firearms. So she's the one that's very much going to jail for the rest of her life and is a child of someone famous. I don't remember who exactly the famous person was, but that's how she got into this business, and she's obviously not very good at it. So Baldwin's lawyers basically got Baldwin out of this, though I'm not sure how Baldwin's going to survive considering how much he is disliked. A lot of people are talking about this Saturday Night Live episode of Tom Hanks, his shaky hands. Many people think that maybe he's got a bit of something going on, kind of similar to what happened to Michael J. Fox. Again, if all the rumors are true, as much as I liked Tom Hanks a lot as an actor, he is one of the ones that's probably the most disappointing in the big picture. All said, if he's actually having issues, I guess it couldn't happen to a bigger dick.
I created the SNL Five-Timers Club, an ingeniously lazy way to avoid writing a monologue. Martin, may I offer you our signature cocktail, the Martini.
It's just like you, super sweet, and after a few sips, you're like, I get it.
Martin, may I offer you our signature cocktail, the Martini.
Yeah, he's got some shaky-ass hands. So a lot of people are wondering what the hell's going on with him. Who knows? Sean Diddy Combs' ex-employee gave rare insight into the rapper's sex parties in a new lawsuit, talking about how he would run around and clean up all the drug paraphernalia, all the illegal stuff, and that was his job. And then if he was at a hotel where they rented out some area, he would then tip them heavily with the hopes that they wouldn't report the damage and crazy shit they end up finding. But this dude, yeah, literally, that was his job, was to walk around and pick up condoms and buckets of alcohol, marijuana, honey packs, male libido stuff, baby oil, lubricants, towels, drugs, sex machines. Curious what those are exactly. I mean, I could think of a few examples, but I don't know which ones they were using. Abercrombie and Fitch CEO has dementia, claims lawyers amid the sex trafficking claim. So this guy's like, I don't know anything. He's like Joe Biden now. And this is going to be his, I guess, attempt at getting out of all of the sex trafficking stuff that he is guilty of. This is, again, CEOs are going to be doing this. This is going to be the common thing. Just expect that to continue to happen. Mysterious black rock falls from the sky during a lightning storm. This is a very, very strange story. A little bit woo, too, for that matter. Happened in Malaysia. Some people, husband and wife, they found these rocks. They ended up burying them like on the side of the road or something where they saw it happen or where it happened, whatever. They then went back, unburied it, took the rocks home, hoping to investigate what they were. They had them at the house for, I don't know, like a month or something. And what the lady was reporting is that she felt more invigorated, more energy, some sort of weird extra power. Not powers. It makes it sound kind of supernatural, but it sort of is. But she felt significantly better with all of this stuff. So, I don't know. People are wondering if there's some weird special power that these rocks have or some energy that they're having. There's a very cool crystal, I believe it's called moldavite. I actually have a couple pieces of it. And they're actually from space. They're actually like asteroids that have come in. One of my favorite pieces. I love the couple pieces of moldavite I have. So I will say it's very possible that this is true. I don't know if it's moldavite. It doesn't look like it. That's a big giant black piece of thing. Moldavite's usually kind of a almost greenish, almost looks like glass. It's kind of a trip. But yeah, seriously, one of my favorite crystals. I got a really nice couple pieces of quartz too, by the way, that are awesome. But my moldavite, one of them, just my thumb fits perfectly in the groove on it, and oh man, it's just such a good energy. So there's probably some truth to that. And finally, this is cool for all you biblical people. You are gonna dig this, and I thought this was a great way to end. And certainly, me being me, and you guys knowing how I am. This was powerful, and I think this is one of the reasons why I find the translations of the Bible are where a lot of questions come into play. And this will explain why. The complexity of the Hebrew language is very well spelled out, and she's literally just grabbing like one sentence of Genesis and breaking it down, and I think does an amazing job. Check this out.
What time is it? It's Bible tea time. In the beginning. Okay, let's pause right there and look at this in Hebrew. The Hebrew word for beginning is this word right here, bereshit. And remember, they read from right to left. So we will break down every letter together. So from right to left, this is the letter Beit, Resh, Aleph, Shin, Yod, and Tav, which spells Bereshit, which means beginning. The letter Beit, or B, means tent, and the letter Resh, or R, means the chief, the head chief. Together, BR is read as bar, and together it means son. The letter Aleph is kind of like a vowel, and it means Adonai, so we'll do a heart for God. The letter Shin means to destroy, so it's kind of like, looks like a claw, so that's how I remember it. This character means hand, the letter Yod. And this last character is Tav, which is T, and it means cross or covenant. To summarize, Beit, Resh, Aleph, Shin, Yod, Tav spelled Bereshit, which means the beginning, and it's already forming a sentence. The Son of God destroyed by his own hand on the cross. But we're not done yet. Earlier, we discussed how Beit and Resh together is pronounced bar, which means son, so there are words within this word. Another one is shin, yod, and tav together. It is read say it, but the English word is thorns. And if you want to look it up, the concordance number is H7898. Next, we have resh, aleph, and shin, which is read as rosh. And in English, it means head. So just to prove it, we've got resh, aleph, and shin right there. The next word we're going to discuss is berosh, which is spelled with a B, R, and shin. So it's this except for aleph. So this means tree, cypress tree, actually. These two together, the shin and yod, means gift. And again, tav means cross or covenant. Okay, let's try to put this together. The Son of God destroyed by his own hand on the cross with thorns on his head, hung up on a tree as a gift of the covenant. Wait, so Jesus was in the beginning? Yes. In John 1:1, what does it say? In the beginning was the Word. And who was the Word? The Word was God. The Word was with God. So since the very beginning, Jesus had always been there.
Yeah, big time. And so this is one of the many reasons why it's hard to see. See, there we go. Yod-He, Vod-He. Yod-He, Vod-He. I believe I'm saying that sort of close. This is the Keys of Enoch, the Book of Knowledge. This is, I think, one of the best books. I've got a link of it actually below, a couple of the books I highly recommend. This book is stupid expensive if you try to buy it on Amazon. It's an amazing book. I've read it, I think, at least twice, maybe 3 times. It's got really cool like fire letters and stuff in it. And these letters actually, your subconscious trips on them. It's got some really, really great pictures and stuff. This is just an incredible book. Not that I'm trying to talk you into buying it, but I am saying this one book probably played a larger role in me reaching the understandings that I've come to. Yod-He, Vod-He. And I think the lady did a brilliant job explaining how crazy Hebrew is and how it's very easy to mistranslate things because there's so much more to it. Do I know Hebrew? No. I kind of wish I did, and I wish I would have studied it more when I was younger. It was never really an opportunity. Probably not something that was necessary in my life, but there are brilliant people that are doing these same things. A lot's happening in the world, folks. People are waking up, people are changing, and people are becoming, well, the beautiful awakened beings that we're all meant to be. We're going to keep pushing forward. Things are going to get a little weird before they get better, and I don't exactly know how or what that means, but we know the deep state does not want to let Trump in, and we've got just under a month before that happens. Stand strong, be ready, be prepared, and that's all we can do right now, and help as many people as you can. I'll be there with you, shoulder to shoulder. We'll keep moving forward. I love you guys. Look forward to seeing you on my Friday music show, and I certainly will be doing another news show tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you had a wonderful, happy, Merry Christmas, and I hope you have a wonderful, happy New Year as well. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.